Welcome, witches. Today we're going to talk about running because I love running. I don't have any reading specific vlogs to film this weekend. I thought this would be a really good time, mostly for me, to document in this moment as I am really struggling with my running and my anaphylaxis. There's been a couple of times that I've mentioned having reaction and suffering from that. There's a few vlogs in there. And while most of my reactions recently have been very minor, like right now I started to have one and still feel like I can't breathe. I also just get really stressed out about it. Let me back up just a minute. I unfortunately in 2018 had my first reaction with not exercise induced anaphylaxis, but essentially while running, the running and just life circumstances added up to me going into anaphylactic shock, ending up in ICU for like 3 days, and my official fear of running. We did a lot of testing. We kind of found out that my body really can't process histamines. And with that, I try and be very conscious of the things that I eat. They're lower in histamine or they balance histamines. That also means that I have to be very careful about what I eat and how close to running I eat. Some of it is based on heart rate during exercise. Like there's a lot of things. And unfortunately, through trial and error, I figured it out. There's things that I think that I don't react to. For instance, didn't think mac and cheese was a reaction, ate mac and cheese, and I went for a walk, which I would have always thought that walking after food was safe. Turns out walking with mac and cheese is not safe. And that took a little bit to figure out, okay, it's a cheese thing and it's not all cheese. Because at another point, I went to eat queso and went to just walk my kids' new school and started to react. I ate mac and cheese and then just started to react. So sometimes it's like I learn what my limits are kind of by pushing there, because as much medical testing and stuff that I've done, they just can't tell me what's going to set me off. We typically know meats, pizzas, especially pepperoni pizzas, if I do that and run, it will set me off. So, like for instance, today I needed to eat because my sugars were too low, but I also needed to run. I tried to wait at least the 2 hours. I typically like to wait 3 to 4 hours between eating and running to be the safest. I started to run and it's always different symptoms, but it's itchy. Typically I can stop and relax and take medicine, but sometimes I don't and I take an EpiPen, which means you have to go to the hospital. So long story short, I have really been struggling with on the verge of reacting, and I manage my stress and anxiety through my running, but my running also causes me a lot of stress and anxiety because I have to think about it. I have to think about if I go out to run, do I have EpiPen? Does somebody know where I am? Is there somebody close enough who can react in time? Because in the times that I've had to take an EpiPen, I've had minutes to take it before I lose consciousness. And those always stress me out. I think also it scarred me because the first time it happened, I was alone with my 2-year-old. He was 2 at the time. I just happened to be running close to the house. So that's one of the reasons, like I stay really close to the house. I am a little bit more conservative in how hard I push myself to run because increased heart rate makes it worse. I'm kind of been struggling with it, and it's struggling with running. Everything. I'm also just that time of the month that doesn't help. So I thought that I would kind of give a little bit more insight into what I run. So we finished a run. I feel like I can't breathe still. What you don't see me editing out is me taking a break to take a giant freaking breath. So sometimes it's just those symptoms where it's like my body is not really itchy reacting, but it's definitely having kind of a background reaction. And I can go take some meds and kind of chill out and take it easy. We only ended up getting about a mile and a half of the 5 mile run that we were going to do, which is why some days I can seem so up and down. I may try again later, but probably not. I'm going to go get my son now. It is Easter weekend, so there'll be some extra fun stuff. I will kind of bring you along for a weekend of running and food and exercise and kind of how I mentally. And of course, there will be books because I don't have the book on me because it's by my bedside, but I am reading The Madwife by Meagan Church. I'm only 3 chapters in. I'm about to start the 4th chapter. I don't really have much to say. I'm going to quickly do a quick chit chat about kind of my morning, how it's going to go pre-run. Currently right now, my husband's doing his long run. Typically he would do his on a Sunday, but it's Easter. So he's not going to do his on a Sunday, which is fine because I'm not usually a morning runner. I used to be back in the day. It's changed. So what I'm going to do now is I will now be constantly worried about food, making sure I'm full enough, but like gonna have enough fuel to go for a long run, but that everything I eat is safe. And I will now stress until I go run, and then I will feel better. So, like I said, it's kind of that self fulfilling circle of life with stress. Typically, things that I would eat. So, if I were to go eat just some cereal, I might wait only a few hours. Although I don't always feel that that's even a good idea, because sometimes, and this is the other thing, is like sometimes this thing can set me off today that didn't set me off last week. It's very frustrating. Today, I think I'm gonna have some avocado toast, probably an egg for some protein, some carbs to keep me going. Those are all typically very safe foods. Eat them, enjoy some coffee, and go run a little later. It's a little chilly. I'm hoping I don't have to run in a long sleeve. Also, in terms of running, I'm already doing the run outside, run on a treadmill. The reality is I can react to neither one. Treadmill seems safer because I can stop and be at home already, or if I'm outside, I have to stop, wait for somebody, and then I panic. I may end up doing a half and a half, and I do have Marnie, who is very used to running, so I feel like it's extra hard on her during these when I can't go run her, because she can run 9 miles with me, so to go from running to like not running is hard. Although she knows when I say treadmill what we're doing, and she seems just as excited to go sit there and watch me run on a treadmill. Let me tell you, best ride or die dog ever. She is down for it. She's down to hang out, down to do whatever. Like, great dog. Absolutely fantastic dog. She's currently outside enjoying the morning, which is why she's not here being like, why are you talking about me? Sorry, the cat is going into on cat mode, and I keep seeing her like bolting around places. I think she's ready to play. So let's come eat breakfast. Let's come do the morning. We finished breakfast. It is 7:23 right now after we have finished eating, which means you can't run any earlier than 9:30 at the earliest. However, my son has a birthday party at noon that is on the other side of town. Plus, we have to get a gift, which means, and my run is like an hour and a half today. So, I'm doing calculations. We start at 9:30. Then I don't finish till 11, and that that gives me barely enough time to shower and like put myself together. I won't like have time for makeup and stuff. Give me time to shower, barely get a gift, and go. So then I may end up having to run after the birthday party, which would mean birthday party's like 2 hours, which means I have to then wait until I get home around 2 or 3. But then I have to figure out, make sure there's safe food to eat, or that I eat them at like noon, so that by the time I get home, which means then we probably wouldn't get home till 3, and then run, and it's my night to make dinner, which means I need to be making dinner by 5, so if I get home by 3 and changed, I'm cutting it. And then this is where I struggle some days. I always find a way to get it in. It's just not always pretty. Sometimes it's rushed. So I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to get my run in today, which means it might not be this morning, unfortunately, which just means now I had to figure out how to balance a late afternoon run with everything. So I'm just going to sit for the morning, watch some YouTube. I like to watch YouTube on Saturday mornings. The video I was supposed to have uploading today, it is like been uploading all night. That's great for me. I'm going to go just enjoy some coffee and some YouTube and the kids playing. And yeah, so I will get back to you. She's back. I had said I was going to sit down and watch YouTube and enjoy my coffee, and then I got up and cleaned. But we got book mail. We're going to open it. Also, the greatest thing I could have ever done for myself was doing a bunch of pre-orders, because then it's like Christmas all throughout the year, and I'm most excited about that. Great choice. Past Jillian, great choice. Okay, but we are currently reading The Mad Wife by Meagan Church, and we're going to get back to that. And I'll give an update later when there's not so much going on around me.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on the sled.
I promise I'm going to get this library cleaned up today, to be specific, but I thought maybe now is a good moment to kind of give my thoughts on The Mad Wife, because I'm kind of feeling it. So back up. It is now 9:11. My minimum time I can wait is like another 15 minutes. And I'm at that, like, I'm ready to do my run. I'm ready to just get this energy out, because, like, now it's like all bottled up. I can tell I'm getting like really short and frustrated because I feel like I just can't start my day because I have to wait for the run. And then I just want to shower. I just want to start the day, and I want to stop worrying about what I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat, coordinating with like what my husband needs to get done, what I need to get done. And I just want to get it done. And thankfully, my husband has taken the youngest to get the gift for his friend's birthday party. So that will buy me a little bit of time. I'm also thinking if I want to push it just a little bit, maybe I will give a quick update on this, and then I'm going to go do a treadmill run. And then maybe once my husband gets home, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll go finish it out outside. So let's talk about this. I think it's interesting. Like, you can tell that this is probably written by a woman who's had some feelings like this, because it says a note before beginning. If you're relating too much to this story a little bit, like maybe you need to pause and put it down. And until this moment, I was like, yeah, kind of feeling it. I think I need to get my run done. My run really sets the mood for every day. It's 1950s. Lulu, she has one son, kind of this picture perfect home. All the ladies in the block live off this, like, how to be a perfect housewife, which in the beginning they give you the checklist. I will have to find the book if I can find it, otherwise I'll just put it up here. But I remember, like, before I had kids and like moving in with my husband for the first time, I was like, I want to be the perfect housewife. I've realized since then that, like, I'm just not housewife material. I'm just not. My husband has accepted that. I think he's perfectly fine with it, to be honest. And it would have those like what days to do this and that and the other. And she just really doesn't feel the need necessarily to follow it. So you can already see that I don't want to say she's a bad seed, but she's definitely the one that's not following the same path. It's not exactly the same. And she has a husband who's the very typical 1950s man. He goes to work, he comes home, he has the drink, he gets the food, does his own thing, you know, not really family engaged with like the kids and her. She is now pregnant again with a girl named Esther, which we do see her very quickly. It's like the fourth chapter. She's coming home with a daughter, and she's really struggling with, how do I have two kids and how do I do all the chores and running errands, because they don't have Instacart like they do now, to get all this stuff done, and everybody else seems to be handling it just fine. There's a house across the street, which all the houses seem to be the same, like mirror images of each other, but this one, she talks about just no family's really stayed there for more than a year. She thinks like the house has something to do with it. However, now there's another family moving in, and she was really hoping that this family would have a little boy close to her son's age. But they have a little girl that's kind of close. It goes over to meet her, and her name's Bitsy, not Betsy, Bitsy. It seems strange, but then they run into each other later, and something feels very off about this woman, but we don't know what. You're really seeing her struggles with balance, feeling whole. She grew up on a farm, kind of has a lot of freedom. She always envisioned herself as running the farm, and now she's this perfect stay-at-home housewife in the 1950s in a suburb. It's a little bit different than what she imagined, and she's having some issues with that. We're also seeing that there's definitely something with her brother that's happened and has caused him to have to struggle to walk with crutches. There's been some hints that something goes on. She doesn't have a good relationship with her mother, which I think is going to add layers to the story. So overall, I mean, we are on chapter 8, about to start chapter 9. Not a lot has happened, but we're just really getting the vibes, getting the feels, seeing the struggles of Lulu and then also the characters around her. I think it's getting close. I'm going to change. I'm going to start on the treadmill at least and get some of this done. I may end up just doing a shorter run today and doing my long run tomorrow just because I have too much energy now. I need to get it out. I want to shower. I want to clean up. I just want to put myself together, move on with the day, and just check something successful off. And that's what it's going to be. Come run with me. Seven done, and I am sweating, and my necklace is backwards. Oh, okay. I'm gonna walk for a little bit just to cool down for a minute. So, lucky me, my mic was apparently not actually recording. So, this entire clip is silent. I will spare you a lot of it because I'm sure I babbled as always. But what I'm saying is, I showered, cleaned up, washed my hair, and to manage to survive 7 miles on the treadmill, I would every 30 seconds speed it up and go between 11 and a half and 10 pace. And then I'd go back down. So, did some kind of like wannabe intervals, but like not really. So, I did that. I got it done. There was no real issues. I actually felt pretty strong. And that also, my son makes these cooking with Charlie videos that he loves. We only share them with family, so you don't get to see them. However, I will show just a tiny clip. And that we were making strawberry shortcake and homemade whipped cream for Easter tomorrow. And that, yeah, I was going to do that, chores, and read The Mad Wife. I think is pretty much all that I was going to say. And yeah, so we can cut this down tremendously and save you guys that suffrage. Okay, cooking. We have the whipped cream and the strawberries made, cleaned up, another little laundry going. So, plenty of productivity happening. I think now I just want to sit down and enjoy The Mad Wife while Leandra is still doing sprints. And she's probably close to the end, so I may end up having to replay them. I really want more coffee, and it's obviously way too late to drink coffee in the day. So I'm gonna make me some chicory, which is, it tastes like coffee, but there's no caffeine in it because it's from the chicory root. I'm trying to get everybody and their mother on it. And I sometimes put a little bit of creamer in there and then I turn it into dessert. So I probably should eat some more food because all I've eaten is the protein milk after my run. But I'll probably make myself some chicory, drink some water, snuggle with the dogs, and read some more The Mad Wife. I'm sorry that the lighting is kind of terrible. I probably should take like 5 extra minutes to set up in a good spot, but I couldn't be bothered. I just couldn't be bothered. Let's go read. I am so tired. I'm like falling asleep reading, so we warmed up some leftover salmon and rice. Gonna be delicious. Forgive the unpleasant lighting of this. I'm trying to make dinner right now. I'm making chicken piccata, one of my favorite meals, and I'm listening to The Mad Wife. I think I have like an hour left in the audiobook, so we're getting there. And I was kind of sitting there like, this seems like not a lot is happening. Like, I think that that's kind of the vibe. Things are weird. I was expecting them to be a little bit dark. Good movie. Okay, sorry. Um, anyways, and it just took a turn. For a while, I was like, this is so annoying. Like, I would hate the whole like 1950s hysteria, like all of that. And you're thinking this is just really people being like shitty towards moms or really ridiculous things. However, it just took a turn that I didn't see coming. I'm super excited for it, but dinner's almost ready, so it's kind of like, okay, this is the moment to pause, give an update. Noodles, everything's ready, so now I need to start plating and pull my housewifely duties out. Yeah, so it's getting good, and it's getting to where like I thought it would be, like a little bit more intense than what it had started. Good morning. I hope my mic is not too annoying or getting hit. It's been kind of a morning already. So I don't have time to run this morning because we had to get stuff ready for Easter. And then on top of that, I had meat for breakfast. I had bacon and sausage, double whammy. So we definitely need to wait the 4 hours. Unfortunately, if I wait 4 hours, I don't have time to get all that done by the time everybody gets over here because we are doing Easter today at our house. However, I had just protein, no carbs this morning. And sometimes that gets me. I think because I had fasted all night and then I wake up and like moving around to get going. So I kind of had a little bit of a sugar crash there. So anyways, my goal is to get at least 5 miles done today. I'm supposed to eat around 1:30 today. So if that's the case and we eat around 1:30, hopefully everybody will be gone because they're coming over around noon by 4 or 5. Then since we're having a late lunch, we'll just eat leftovers for dinner. And with that, I can feed the kids what it is and then get a short run in before I have to eat again for dinner and do bedtime. So that's kind of my goal, is to get another one in. The cat one's in. But everything will just have to kind of time out just right for that to happen. But this morning, I had spent so much time trying to figure out like a cute new do for my hair that's not just in a ponytail. And what happens? We're in a ponytail. Anyways, I want to get ready. I need to update. I finished The Mad Wife yesterday and started The Story May Save Your Life by, I believe it's Tiffany Crumb. I started physically reading that yesterday. So let's talk about The Mad Wife because the last update I had, like some things were twisting and it definitely builds. I wish there was more of that throughout the book. I ended up having to listen to it because if I was reading it, her talking about all the chores and the mommy stuff, I sat there and thought, oh my God, I have so much of this stuff I need to be doing. So I ended up listening to it while doing chores, home stuff, etc. And I think that that worked for me and like the twists and like the oh my gosh. The only thing that I wish is that there was a little bit more build up to the twist because I feel like it comes out of nowhere and like yeah, you can probably predict it, but I feel like there wasn't as much hints of the weird stuff happening during it that I think it could have made it a little bit spookier. But then I think this is more on the literary fiction side versus like a thriller side. So in that sense, it makes sense, if that makes sense. It ended up not being a 5 star, but I still did enjoy it in that moment. And now we started If the Story Could Save Your Life at 40 pages in, and it's going between like a. I thought of this as more like a podcasty book, but it's starting off very podcasty. Like they're doing a story. However, like there's a book memoir that they're writing, and I feel like for this being like they run a podcast, I feel like there should be more podcast versus book. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Anyways, I do need to film a couple shorts reviews for books that I have finished. So I need to get that done. And then also I need to film the outro to my run roulette where I finish Lights Out. And if you're curious my thoughts on that, go watch that vlog, please. Um, so yeah, so hopefully we will get a little bit more reading and stuff done today. I will keep you updated if I get some running done, kind of where we finish out. Oh, we made the homemade whipped cream yesterday, and then the little neighbor boy who's the same age as my son came over. And so my son had him do the taste test, and he goes, "Tastes like whipped cream." That was really cute. He like came at the perfect time to be the taste tester. And then they played, and that all turned out good. It will be delicious. I'm going to let the cat in and finish getting ready, film a couple shorts, and then enjoy Easter. So I will talk to you shortly. The Easter fun is over and I'm exhausted. I don't know if I have it in me to run 5 miles today. I'm just like just drained from human interaction. It's too much human interaction. No, and the boys are really wanting to snuggle. I also, based on when we ate, I can't run for like another hour, and this will be 5:30, and then by the time I'm done, this will be bedtime. And the little boys are really just wanting to snuggle. So I think I'm going to call it. I may end up getting a mile in or something like right before bed just to feel like I did something, but we've been playing, we've been having fun. Like I've been moving around. Don't you worry. And I'm just kind of ready to call it. So I think I'm going to go turn on a movie with little boys, read while they watch their movie, and just hold them. They are so precious. And I'm just a lazy, boring old lady. Unfortunately, this is one of those things that if I didn't have to worry about this, there's many of hours that I've had a moment that I could have gone and done these things. Unfortunately, because I ate and it was a lot of meats, a lot of like hams, and there was bacon and the green beans, and just some of the kind of higher trigger risk foods. that I have to wait extra long than if I didn't. But like also I do need to eat like semi nutritious. I've also had a couple of highs in places like so it's kind of like my body's already like at its limit and just kind of itchy as it is, and I just don't feel like risking it. I'm sure I would be fine. And that's like the other thing is it's just given the day that it is and how I've been feeling, I tend to go more treadmill, which also makes running seem so much more daunting. Cause like you can go out and run for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours outside, and it goes by like that. You can run for 5 minutes downstairs and it feels longer than anything. So trying to do those long runs on a treadmill like yesterday, like you have to do something just to keep you entertained. I do have a TV up there, but at the same time, running on a treadmill is just not as enjoyable as running outside, especially because like I love that time with Marnie and I just love that like alone, peaceful time. Because I don't know if you can see because I haven't ended it yet, but like as I'm running out, there's a few times I'm like looking out the window because the little boys can play in the backyard and like I can see from our thing, so I can see them and they want to talk to me, chit chat with me. Or you'll see like the kids, if I'm in the gym, they want to lift weights with me, or I'm on the treadmill, so they're like lifting, they have their little kid weights. Um, so it's like they want to be a part of that, and I don't want to discourage that because I want them to want to be healthy and want to work out and like want to do all those things. So at the same time, it's like, okay, there's a fine line between encouraging and being like, leave me alone. It's one of those days I'm ready to call it, and it's only 4:30 in the afternoon. Is it 4:30? 4:27 p.m. to be exact. But we are early birds in this house. My kids love a good 5 a.m. wake up call. We go to bed early, they wake up early. We have to get to work. So, like for instance, my son will have to be at my mom's an hour and a half before he even has to leave for school. And just because unfortunately work wants you there by 7 a.m., school doesn't start till 8:30. And then of course we have to be at work at 7 a.m. Means he has to be dropped off in time for us to leave there to be at work at 7 a.m. And my oldest son's bus picks him up at 6:30. So, because his school starts at 7:20. So, it's one of those things that like we just have to be early. Just we're early people, that's how life works. You really don't care about my kid's school schedule. So long story short, if something else happens, I will let you know. But as of right now, I'm going to go get into PJs, read the rest of The Story Might Save Your Life because I've read 20-ish more pages. I am enjoying it. It just feels weird because it's a podcast, but you're getting clips of a book. And I just like, I'm giving it a moment. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to go get my PJs and snuggle my little boys and enjoy the rest of Easter. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, witches. I know that I said that I was going to relax and take a shower, and I've managed to make it 30 minutes, and all I can think about is how I need to get a run in and to get some movement. Like I have so much like pinned up energy, anxiety, and I think I just need to give in and let it happen and just stick to maybe like a mile. I moved this way for the lighting to be, somewhat acceptable. So I'm giving in. I should be making it a rest day. I have too many big feelings and I just need to kind of like let it out. So the kids are playing downstairs. It'll be perfect. I can go run on the treadmill, watch them play, keep it really short, keep it low, keep it slow. I have like 30 minutes till I would say that like it's like in the free home zone, but I think I've waited long enough. Again, here's the thing, is if I don't do it, I'm going to stress about it all night. If I do it, I will always think I should have done more. I'm like, it's you're fine. And if I have reaction, then I'll say, you dumb idiot, that's why I shouldn't have done it. But I feel like I need to at least do a mile. So I'm going to do a mile. And we will hopefully not regret this. I almost just had to start the clock over because, sorry, I got distracted by something outside because my son is eating Cheez-Its and I was like, oh, Cheez-It. That's another thing. I will start my clock over because I won't be thinking about it and I'll grab something to eat and then the fucking clock starts over. I did not eat the Cheez-It. I did not, so I can still do this. But it's like, I know people are like, just think ahead. But it's like in those little moments that you don't think about, like, oh, I'm just gonna try a bite of that. Clock starts over. Might do that clock starts over a little bit less, but it does start over. I just thought that was funny. And another one of those moments that like, even in the moment of what you're doing, I can still fuck shit up. Okay, I'm gonna run by. Anybody else just see their husband just living life and just think, ah, the most handsome husband in the world, him. Just out there checking his sprinklers, making sure they're working. The little grass patches are growing in. Just old man things. Where it gets me. There's one hit that even right. So I think we'll definitely stop at one. Sounds itchy. So what can you do? Okay. Let's get the last 0.8 out. Let's go.
Lap 1, 12:50.
But it does leave them open to a much higher degree of risk if something comes up, like an injury or an illness, that materially change.
The unfortunate part is I want to keep running, but I'm getting itchy. I don't need to risk it because it's like, okay, could we go just a tiny bit further? Am I stopping too soon? Maybe I could push it that another mile. I don't know. But I don't want to push it too much, but I also don't want to like give in any time percentage, although like this, I can tell it's not going to be one that like I need an epi and I need to do, but I know if I keep pushing, it will become something. Because usually once the like head and the legs start itching, you're done. Like, yeah, if my arms start itching, like that's one thing. But like when it gets to the head or the legs, it's usually I call it quits. And sometimes like you can kind of push a little bit and then you'll realize like it's just blood flow, or it's just like a moment where you're working it up in your head. And then there's other times where you know you should probably stop. And just given the past week of things, it's definitely one of those days where you don't push it. My goal was 5, and I think realistically we knew that 5 wasn't gonna happen. We told ourselves we were gonna go for 1, and it was slow as hell. But I think like secretly I was gonna try and get 5 in, which doesn't make sense. Like it just, time of day doesn't make sense. Just none of it makes sense. I think that my body is starting to handle it just slightly better because I noticed this morning my average resting heart rate has gone back down. It was at like 51, which is still low, I understand that, but like mine is normally mid to low 40s, and it's gone back down. Like right now it says my average resting heart rate today is 44, and over the last 7 days it's 47, but like, so, you know, like I can see it trending back down to where like my body's kind of maybe less freaking out, like kind of processing through some stuff. And I have noticed, like yesterday I had a good run, so it's like my body's getting there. And we go through ebbs and flows where it just, I don't know what's happening and it just hates me. And then I can go a long time without any issues. I do feel like over the last year or two, they've really flared up. I almost went to a point where I kind of was like, okay, I've kind of beat it, like we're over. But yeah, I don't even know if you can hear me. I don't have the mic in. The gym is kind of noisy and loud. I had a window open, the kids are playing, watching a movie. And try not to be a complete weirdo. So, yes. Thank you for listening to me, letting me whine about the stress of running. I understand like it's so minimal, but it's like if I could change one thing, that's what it would be. Running could just be stress-free. I didn't have to worry about collapsing in the middle of a freaking run. And the one thing that brings me, not the one thing, but like it's something that brings me so much joy, so much just like relaxation. And my dad is a runner. I grew up with him running. He has his records from like back in the 70s and his college days. Like I grew up running track, like, so I've been running since little, and it's a big part of my dad's life. And it was after pregnancy, my dad being significantly older, it was always a great pace to start running with, and then pushing strollers. And so like the years of just running with my dad and my kids in strollers, like the amount of hours that I have logged just with him running. And so it's like I have all these like really fantastic memories. And like after my anaphylaxis, I was scared to run. I was too scared, and my dad was like, let's do this. So we ran by his house, and for a while he was the only person I would run with, because it was like, I don't trust anybody else. So, like, I didn't want to tell people like, hey, if something happens, would you mind shooting me with an EpiPen? And so he didn't run, I didn't run. And so it's just like, and when it's really bad and I'm missing a lot of runs and it's fucking with my training, and that's kind of why I paused from like trying to like PR half marathons. So I'm just doing whatever, because like some days just doing the run and finishing and being able to push like the limits a little bit, like to a higher heart rate or whatever, it just feels like a win. That yeah, like some days when it's like this and I see just somebody like go out and run, or my husband just be like, oh, I feel like going for a run this afternoon. Doesn't matter really, whenever, like he's not thinking about that, he's not worrying about that. Or like I see people just running at like just whatever time of day, I can sometimes like get mad. I'm just like, why do you get to do that? I want to do that. And then I think, you know what? Everybody has their battles, everybody has their things. It's like hard and suffers, and like they would change, and this just happens to be mine. Like, would I love to like be super fit looking and lose weight? Absolutely. But if it was that, stay the way that I am, stay the same pace that I am. You could run anytime you wanted. Like, it doesn't matter when you ate. Sold. Yeah. That's just me being whiny, and I appreciate it. Appreciate that you let me be whiny. I promise you this is not going to be a thing, but just, does anybody else have issues with food and running? They've called it anti-IG antibodies, or our body just reacts to itself because it can't process histamines. They've called it food-based exercise-induced anaphylaxis, where the only way to find out what it is to eat something and run until you react. And I'm like, but some days that's gonna make me react a lot more than another day. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me whine. Thank you for letting me get this off my chest. Let's get back to regular book scheduled programming. Oh, not a preview. Let's get back to the regular scheduled programming, which will always include running, because at the end of the day, this is what brings me the most joy, even if I am not the fastest and I don't run half as many miles as I wish I did. This is what brings me the most joy. It's like running, books, woodworking. I love building me something. If only building giant bookshelves and other projects. I do a lot of projects around the house. Not recently though. I take up a lot of time. Okay, kids are eating. Bye.